Hi, this is Rob O'Byrne from Logistics Bureau, and we've just finished another great event here at the Harbour View Hotel in Sydney. Wonderful view here behind us, and I've been having lunch with an old friend of mine, David Harrison. Great to catch up with you, David.
No worries.
Now, we were talking over lunch because David's had a huge amount of experience in procurement and finance with some really big corporations here in Australia, and you were telling me over lunch about some of the key areas where CFOs particularly very often leave money on the table. I found that fascinating. So I asked him to share us a couple of tips. So
Sure.
let's hear those.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, like as Rob was saying, from my experience point of view, I worked in Westpac and Vodafone, and then on top of that, FMCG. And time again, doesn't matter which organisation or industry, it's a common theme around not really understanding, what is the relationship you have with your vendors and how you can extract that value that you have either in a contractual arrangement or commercial arrangement, or just purely out of the relationship around innovation and what they can bring to the table. And often we're talking millions of dollars here of just left there without actually asking the question or understanding, what your competitors are actually receiving from these similar vendors in these industries.
So what, is it because people are just focusing too much on the price of the product or service?
Look, it is, and often, within the process of, tenders, tenders are often determined by price, and you're leaving on the table pieces around demand management, you're leaving on the table pieces around innovation, scope, and what can you do within the supply chain that you have, or the supply chain that you have with the vendor, and as said, it's more around the rate. And that's the concentration that a lot of companies have and fail to really see the full scope of what's available to them.
So it's a bit like an iceberg, isn't it? They're just looking at the bit above the water.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I mean, in your experience, you've been, looking at supplier relationship management and procurement for many years. Is there a process that people ought to adopt?
Look, there actually is, and I've called it the RIC Formula.
Okay.
And
Who's Rick?
And look, and the only reason to call it the RIC Formula is I strongly believe that, you get the relationship right, and then on top of that, you get the scope or innovation right, and you combine that with the commercial value, hence RIC, and you get the aggregation of that together, and that's really powerful. And I've seen, bottom line growth as well as margin growth around revenue as well as cost taken out, and these are powerful concepts that I've seen businesses that I've belonged to really bring to the fore and see their bottom line growth.
That sounds fascinating. That sounds to me like something we should share at one of our events.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to.
So would you like to come along to an event and hear all about the RIC Formula and how to have better relationships with suppliers and really get some of that money that's generally left on the table?
Absolutely, and guys, it's about that sustainable savings and that sustainable cost savings rather than a quick and easy. It's just taking that glide path to get it year on year on year on year.
Sounds fascinating. So look, let's get our heads together. We'll put an event together so we can share some of this, maybe at a breakfast for C-level executives, CFOs, CEOs, and we'll put something together and we'll put a registration link, and we'll do that really soon, I reckon.
Brilliant.
Okay, we'll see you there hopefully.